universalism. Universalism. Let's talk about the universalism. Universalism means it's a kind of a word. It's a philosophical and theological concept, right? Within the Christianity and Buddhism and other religions, even the Bio religion also. Some ideas have the universal application of the or applicability. Actually, when it comes to the brief fundamentalism, the brief a belief in one fundamental truth is another important tenet of universalism, right? So the living truth is seen as more far-reaching than the national, cultural, religious boundaries or interpretations that of oneness God, and the truth. So beyond the religious boundaries, beyond the cultural boundaries, beyond the economical boundaries, beyond the national boundaries, and right in every boundaries, right? It's all about the universalism, like we are free. It's a kind of a Hegelism, like some similarities, I think, to the Hegelism, right? So in a community that you can see a community that calls itself as a universalist, or it may emphasize the universal principles, like it can say the most religions and accept others in an inclusive manner. You can say as an inclusive manner. When it comes to the modern context, right, universalism can also mean the Western pursuits of unification of all human beings across the geographic and other boundaries under the Western values and the Eastern values, and also all the applications of reality, the really universal and the universalist construct, such as human rights and the international law, right? So, context, when it comes to the modern context, right, and the universalism has had an influence the modern day of Hinduism and some of the Islamic views, and also influencing the modern Western spirituality when it comes to the today Western concepts. When it comes to the when it comes to the Christian universalism, it refers to an idea that every human will eventually receive the salvation in a religious or a spiritual sense. Concepts also refer to an universal, you can say, kind of a universal reconciliation, right? When it comes to the, when we go through the philosophical universalism, in philosophy, when it comes to the philosophy is universality is an idea that the universal facts exist and it can be discovered as opposed to relativism, which asserted that all the facts are relative to one perspective, So in this short video, when it comes universal, like a definition, when it comes to the definition, universalism is like a broad philosophical and theological concept, right? Emphasize the universal applicability of a certain principles, like values, like the truth, and here we can let us see the breakdown, some of the breakdowns. The philosophical universalism is and theological universalism, right? There are two kinds. Basically, there are two kinds. So the philosophical universalism, that perspective, posts that certain principles such as moral laws or the logical rules apply the universally regardless of the culture, historical and the personal contexts. Like you can say the thinkers like Immanuel Kant and John Rawls have they have contributed to these areas. About this Immanuel Kant and the John Rawls, I will make us another separate videos because in this video I cannot explain everything. And when it comes to the theological universalism, it related to Christianity, Bio-religion, and also the Buddhism, and also the Hinduism, right? All the religious platforms it explains, right? In this religious context, universalism it it offers like a often refers to the idea that all people with ultimately be saved and reconciled with the higher power, with a kind of higher power, regardless of their beliefs or their actions. That's how it says about the theological universalism, right? In this view, is often associated with the Christian universalism, with asserted with the God's love and the salvation are universal and rather than limited of selected groups. Let us see the key aspects. Universality principles. Universalism like often involves that idea is a certain principles or the truths applied anywhere and to anyone. That's a fascination thing. And number two, inclusive. When it comes to the inclusivity, universalism can imply that everyone is included in the particular framework or particular system. Okay, I'm sorry, the last time there was a power cut off. So, so objective truth. When it comes to the objective truth, universalists, they are often believe in objective and the truths, and also the exists independently of the personal opinions or cultural variations, right? And when it comes to, there are some debates also. You can see cultural relativism. When it comes to the cultural relativism, criticism, when it comes to the criticism and the debates, cultural relativism for the universalism, some argue that the universalism neglects the cultural differences and the nonsense, right? And the moral absolutism. When it comes to the moral absolutism, others criticize the universalism for implying absolute moral standards that do not account for the context, right? And the particularism, some thinkers, some philosophers, that they argue that universalism overlooks an importance of particular context and the experiences only. Very difficult to understand at once, but we can try, we can try. So when it comes to the influence, universalism has shaped the various fields including ethics, politics, and policymakers, and also the theology. When it comes to theology, universal makes a wide role, right? It continues to influence the contemporary debates on human rights, global justice, international law, interfaith dialogue, and these specific aspects of universalism. We want to talk about it more, and types of universalism. Let's dive deeper into the branches of the universalism. Types of universalism. Number one, moral universalism. Number two, cultural universalism. Number three, theological universalism. Number four, ontological universalism. Right? So these are the four parts When it comes to the moral universalism, the idea that moral principles and the rules apply universally, regardless of, as I explained you before, regardless of the cultural and the personal differences. Okay, number two, the cultural universalism. This notion that the certain cultural practices or the values are universal across the different societies, And number three, and the most importantly, this is I like so much, theological universalism. Theological universalism is a belief that all people will ultimately be saved or reconciled with the higher power, right? And the ontological universalism, the idea that certain entities, properties, and the relations exist universally, regardless of the context, right? Let us see some arguments, key arguments. Universalization, universalizability, the principles that moral judgment should be based on the rules that can be usually applied, right? And number two is human rights. Widely talk about these days, right? Human rights. Human rights is the idea that the certain rights and the dignity are inherited to all humans and regardless of nationality and the cultural or status, right? Objective truth. When it comes to the objective truth, the notion that certain truths exist independently of personal opinions or cultural, like a cultural variations. It comes under the cultural variations. Since we don't do anything, I'm in live. One of my friend come, so I know you are on live. So okay, let's talk about the relativism. When it comes to the relativism, these argument that moral and the cultural norms relative to a specific context and they cannot universalize, right? And the particularism. This emphasize, as I explained you before, particularism. It's emphasize the particular context and experience which may changes and it challenges the universalist comes. Like that relativity. Everything is come into the relativism, right? And particularism and the contextualism is one of the most challenging part when it comes to the challenges and the critics for the universalism. That views. What do you think about it, viewers? What do you think about it? Actually, in this point of view, the view that meaning that truth depends on the specific context, which can undermine the universalist ambitions, right? So these are the values, these are the moral values. The influence on the various fields when it comes to the human rights, when it comes to the global justice, when it comes to the interfaith dialogues, when it comes to the ethics and the morality. These are the main key parts, main ideological, you can say the sectors, various fields, right? When it comes to the human rights, we talk about in Southeast Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East, and especially in the Europe, and also in these days in the United States, in North America, we talk about the human rights. Trump's policies make America great again, the policies and everything, right? The universalism has sharp the development of the connecting again, right? Alive again, right? Okay. I'm sorry, some connection issues and some electrical issues. I'm really sorry for that. But after I can post this video, you can do it, right? Hi, some of my top fans. Thank you so much for your being as a top fans of mine. So let's talk about the global justice. Global justice means the international law. When it comes to the universalist ideas, inform the debates on global justice, international law, human rights, and the poverty and the inequality. Inequality. These days inequality is widely talk about it, widely. Come on, we cannot justify the inequality because it's since the society and the civilization started from in I don't know when, until the societal collapse, until the world end, in the very day of the world end, one day in the future, maybe three, this concept will be widely talk about it, right? And ethics and the morality, when it comes to ethics and the morality, universalism continues to influence and discussions of the moral concepts and rules and the theories. On this next episode of next video, I'm going to talk about it widely, don't worry. And see you next time. Bye bye, god bless you all, and see you next time. Thank you so much to watching my video. When I if I see